This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where, as the name suggests, we talk about bass fishing. I say this every week, and it continues to get this. I've actually had some conversations about this behind the scenes where it seems like once the train starts rolling in the world of professional bass fishing, it's no longer just like, hey, we got like 5 FLW Tour events and 8 Bassmaster Elite Series events, and there you go. I mean, dude, there's like stuff every single week. Multiple things. So coming off of a really good Classic week, did some good recap shows with it. Was at the Classic in Knoxville. Everyone knows how that went down. Second Bass Nation champion in the history of the Bassmaster Classic. Things kicked off the following week, and we'll have a more kind of in-depth on this on Best on Tour this week with Dave Rush that'll come out tomorrow. But a couple things to note, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. We have 2 really good guests. We got Tom Brewbaker from Fishing Chaos, who's going to come on for the first 10-15 minutes, kind of walk through. Guys, we are making some money for St Jude. $25 entry fee on the Fishing Chaos online tournament. We're approaching $4,500, and that's just from BTL listeners going fishing, measuring fish, and submitting them. So we're almost halfway to our goal for that. Then time has passed and slipped through my fingers. I didn't realize we hadn't had Charlie Hartley on since last November, and usually he's on about every other month. So I called Charlie, who is taking care of some business at the house. I said, hey, you can be on the water, whatever, because I know he fishes every day. And he said, no. He said, I'll be in the office. So we got Charlie Hartley live from Florida, and we will talk about the joys of fishing. We also in the second half, I know Charlie has been terrorizing the local derby scene down there in Florida, and I actually jumped in the boat with former Elite Series pro and current Bassmaster Opens angler, good buddy Kevin Ledoux yesterday, and we fished a little jackpot. I'll tell you what, it's been a little bit of time since we got a little bit of hardware, but I mean, we may or may not have had a day for the ages. So Charlie and I love to tell fish stories, so I think we're going to hear some of his fish stories. He's been catching some giants. He got stuck the other day. He said that he legitimately thought he might live in the swamps in Florida, but he was able to power his way out, and then I'll probably tell our fish story yesterday. It was a last cast, like one of those where like the boats are idling in to check in, and I'm like, I got a giant, and we didn't know it. It is a cool story. One of those things that keeps you coming back. But no, I'll tell you what, one of the guys who's always going to keep coming back right now is Zach Burge. He is in fuego. He is on fire. He's leading the BPT Angler of the Year halfway through the season. Whitney and Waco BPT champ. And then he goes down to the NPFL, no scope on the Harris chain. Makes a run, had some weird stuff happen. Anyway, he wins on the Harris chain, basically a $250,000 in the past like 3 weeks that he's won. And then no surprise, Bank Shaw. In Bank Shaw's professional tournament career, going like before the previous tournament that he fished, where he finished like 56th or so, he missed the cut. He has had one bad tournament since he started fishing tournaments, like one, as in like 0, 1. The rest are all top 10s. He's like maybe got a couple 20. So he was like, oh, I had a bad BPT event. Let's just back that up by catching 62 pounds in the pro circuit on Wheeler and get another win. He won one last year. So Bank Shaw gets the win there. And then all of the professional anglers are back on the road this week. The elites are on the Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway. I believe that's in Mississippi. And then the MLF BPT is on. This one will be interesting. They've done it before. They've been to OHIV, but they went during a crappy time of the year. They're not going during a crappy time of the year right now. And if you know anything about OHIV, there is a window of opportunity to see gargantuans, some of the biggest fish in the country, a la Southern California late 90s Bob Cruppy live crawfish style, like that type of size fish. We're talking about 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, 7, like those fish live in there, and there is a chance we can watch someone this week in the BPT attempt to capture said nesting teener live. And like all I'm saying is here, it will not happen at the Tennessee Tom Bigby. You will not see the largest bass ever caught in the live stream era of bass fishing. However, in the MLF BPT on OHIV and Brownwood, there is a more realistic chance than there ever has been before that we will see the largest fish ever caught live, which I'm kind of excited about. All right, let's bring in Tom Brewbaker, Fishing Chaos. What's up, Tom?
What's going on, Matt? Good to see you.
There's a lot of stuff going on this week.
Dude, there's so much going on this week. It's honestly awesome. I feel like the Classic is what officially kicks off bass fishing for the masses, because it's like after that, it's almost too much to pay attention to. And
yeah, I mean, you add in the Opens, you add in all the Toyota series, you have, I mean, you've just got tons of stuff going on every single week, and it's kind of hard to keep up. So, like, you know, you have like Dylan Nutt wins a Classic, then he's got a tournament afterwards. Then Bankshaw wins this one, but now he's at the BPT. And then Zach Burge wins, but now he's at the and for a guy who does a podcast every single day and likes to get on guys who have won and are at the top, it's like difficult because it's like, cool, you win, you celebrate for 6 hours, you drive 12 hours, and now you're on the water for the next week. And then you have to cover the next tournament and something else has already happened. And now you're 3 weeks backlogged. I'm a little frazzled over it, Tom.
Dude, I'm a little frazzled as well. I tell you who didn't miss, and that's Bigs Only between Bankshaw and the dang Nutt brothers.
Yeah, do you know anything about that brand?
I mean, I talked to the Nutt brothers a little bit about it, and I think it's a good friend of theirs that they've known for a minute, and I guess they are friends with very good anglers.
I mean, it's just, is that all it is? It's just like an apparel company with the crossed hooks that says Bigs Only, and they have to have the Nutt brothers and Bankshaw on the team. I saw a bunch of the Bigs Only kind of, they're not even a structured rope hat. They're like a floppy rope hat, because I think they figured out that people my age still like the structured hat, but then we put the rope on it to try to still feel relevant. And they said, oh, no. We're set ourselves apart. We're going to make it a little bit floppier just so we don't get those millennials that are trying to aura farm our style.
Hey, talking about Aura Farm, Zach Burge, dude, he whips out those glasses and then he's taking everybody's money. I mean,
have you heard about those glasses? He just posted about the glasses.
Yeah, I want a pair.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Don't tell me they're Bigs Only shades.
He said, quote, this was 11 hours ago. Y'all can stop asking about the glasses again. Click on the link in bio, fishing sunglasses to my wife's TikTok account, and tap on the little orange link in the bottom. $17 sunglasses that made $250,000 in 3 weeks.
I think it's a confidence thing. I think he looked in the mirror and he's like, I'm about to win all of these tournaments.
$17 shades.
I mean, they look like they almost have like the S11, like, Strike King yellow lens in them. I mean,
I thought for a second they were those because we had them on the Open Pros Pick'em show or whatever we call that now with like Upshaw, Castledine, and Ish, and I thought that they were maybe one of those, like, have you seen the screen lenses that like they're kind of that color that you're supposed to wear when you're looking at a computer screen to reduce eye strain?
The blue light.
Yeah, I thought they were maybe blue light glasses, but they weren't.
They're bass like glasses is what they are, man. He must be able to see through the water exceptionally well or something. I don't know, but it's working for him. I love to see it because I feel like he was on the cusp of winning for a long time, and now he's just on a hot streak.
Yeah, so like back in 2013, 12, 13, he was the young gun, like in the BFLs, and you would like go to the BFLs and the team tournaments and stuff, and he would always have the wrapped boats and the jacked up diesels, and he was like 16, 17, 18 years old. His shoes would always match the wrap, which would match the truck, which would match the boat. And I mean, he always kind of caught him, but like he's a dude who has just evolved and grown. You know, he won the national championship with OSU, the collegiate championship with OSU there, and then kind of made the move. And he's one of those guys that's really taken a few years to develop, but is obviously has been, you know, he's seen flashes of it, but I think right now he's in his prime and will be for a long time, especially if he keeps lifting heavy things.
Well, when he won at OSU, wasn't that the same group that was like class that had like Connell and the Libros? And
I believe so.
That's just nuts looking back on it, because college fishing was so much smaller then, but the people that made, you know, the final and the fish off were all studs. So they're still killing it today.
No, I believe so. What'd you think of the Classic?
Dude, I thought it was awesome. I feel like the traffic, it seemed like it was double what it was last time it was in Knoxville. It was just a lot of great energy there. And, you know, it's a little frustrating if you're trying to get to like the third floor and you're on the first floor and you're trying to wade through all this traffic. But then it's like, this is amazing that this many people are showing out for this. And I don't know. It just seems like vibes were high at the Classic. I know I saw you briefly.
Immaculate vibes.
The one time I saw you, you called me out on my lack of swag. I don't know. I guess whatever I was wearing, I was like, I'm never going to wear this again. Because
what was it? Was very. I thought it was very. It was very modern man.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's modern man style.
I think I was wearing a vest, and you were just what is this?
Yeah.
A vest with a hoodie on it. And then I was like, you know what, man? Maybe.
Did you have short sleeves?
Right. I did have short sleeves.
Yeah, you had a vest with a hood, but then you had short sleeves.
Which is why I made sure that I was repping today something BTL sponsor related.
Yeah, do you want to see the craziest line that Sunline has ever made?
Yes.
This is Sunline's visible tomato.
Okay. All right. I like that.
It is literally the color of a visible tomato.
Wow.
I think that's fishing for uni maybe in Japan. Like, this is not available in the United States. I literally got a 5-pack straight from the Sunline factory when we went to Japan a year and a half ago.
You got a 5-pack?
I said I need some of this in my life, and it's staying in the studio.
You got a little special hookup on some koikis, Matt? I hear you're the koiki guy.
Dude, hopefully Charlie doesn't have a suit. He's going to be a little bit late on this because we haven't even gotten to the fishing chaos. So you want to hear my devastating koiki story?
Yeah, of course.
So if you listen to the show, really good backstory with Kazu and Sid from Spro. Kazu knows the owner of Hide Up, who obviously is the inventor of the koiki, and they were the ones who struck a deal to bring the koikis over to the United States from Japan. You following? Yeah. So without this, they're still koikiing in Nagano, and we know nothing about it. Go back and watch that show. It's interesting. We have Americanized the minnow. We have Americanized the koiki. Like, I've been in the boat with these guys, and they're like, wow, like, you guys go heavy and big and fish these things not the way they were intended to fish. It was actually intended to be a top water bait.
What?
Like think of like a floating worm, like the merthiolate worm. I just had this conversation before. So like think of a top water, like a floating worm in this time of year post spawn period. But if you think of that ball where they're like, what is it supposed to look like? Now that on a hook with no weight hovers right on the surface. And when you go shoo, shoo, it looks like those little ball of fry that are scooting across the surface, and then the big bass come up and smoke it. So that's how he intended that to be fished. It wasn't throw weight in it, get it down, jerk it over and put it that's how that bait was designed to be fished. And I also have talked to guys who are in the boat with Japanese anglers in past opens who have gotten their ass handed to them early in the year by them throwing it this style.
Okay. Well, I will be doing that on Lake Murray if I can find it.
Yes. So that's the preview to the story. So anyway, we were at a media event at Lake Hartwell last spring. And this is over like a year ago. And they had the Hide Up guys there. And at the like kind of free thing get together, boxes and boxes and cases to the ceiling of Koikis in 17, 13, and full cast. And they said, guys, we just brought these over. We've got to deal with hide up. Figure out how to use these. Take as many as you want. Take them, learn them, figure it out. I mean, to the ceiling of the blue ball, or that sounded weird, of the blue boxes. That says like bringing the million bites to you or whatever it is. And I took 4 of the 13 mils because I was like, oh, I'll try drop shotting that for smallmouth. 2 of the 17 mils and 2 of the full cast. And I took the full cast because I thought they would look badass sitting in the studio because they look like a novelty.
Yeah, they look like something that you would win at Chuck E. Cheese with your tickets.
Yes.
Get that off the shelf. It's
the
insane.
Guys who adopt it, like Brian knew a couple of the guys like adopted it, but then there were guys that had, we had them on the show. Like there were, I think it was Taku or Koya or one of those, like 2 years ago, like you can clearly see 2.5 years ago, you can clearly see in the video him catching one on a full cast and then doing everything in his power to ninja move that bait away. And there's literally one frame in it where you see the urchin tentacle sticking out of the giant fish's mouth, but he didn't say anything about it.
Do you feel like more people are fishing Koikis now or?
Oh yeah, everyone is.
Or whopper ploppers after
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
same thing in our industry.
Everyone has multiples.
Check out these that I just got. Big B's Baits out of I think he's in Wisconsin now, Minnesota. You know who I'm talking about there?
Mm-hmm.
Friends with Sobe. He does some of the tourney Tuesdays. Sent me micro dice.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Micro dice. I just got these in the mail. Look at these. These are little bitty micro die.
Die.
I mean, they're tiny.
We're in a die world now. The technique is just put it where you would put any other lure, and they will eat it.
But he makes these things by hand.
That's awesome.
And he sent them to me, so I give him a shout out. I mean, look at that little morsel.
That is a delicious morsel.
Yes, so those are staying there. He catches a lot of panfish on them, but those are going strictly into my northern box along with all my little smallmouth tricks.
Did you get in road to the opens, Matt?
I have not gotten in road to the opens, and I should have yesterday because we cast, catched, counted, and mounted. But it was one of those days, and I have to tell the story with Charlie because Charlie's a story guy. But by the time it crossed my mind and Ledoux was like, hey, do you want to submit these? Like we were in the throes of like culling 5s every 20 minutes.
Okay.
So it just got hot and heavy and I didn't realize it. I should have. So I may have to, that's
paid entry
to-do list.
Paid entry, dude.
All right, yeah, let's talk about this. The fishing chaos. We've talked about it. A huge shout out to the BTL listeners and fans. We have hit 170 entries into the BTL for St. Jude Fishing Chaos online tournament. I know I talked to guys at the Classic who are in it. I've gotten messages from a bunch of guys who haven't tried it. We're like 45% of the way there. So the way it worked was did a deal, and I'm not going to do the whole half-hour recap. Basically, got with you guys, you got with me, you said, hey, we want to promote Fishing Chaos. I said, I want to raise money for St. Jude, so let's run an online tournament for St. Jude. $25 entry fee, 100% of the proceeds go to St. Jude. So at 170 times 25, we're at $4,250 raised directly for St. Jude. That'll go earmarked with the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic. That'll go towards that $1 million+ that we're going to raise on that. And that's $4,250 that BTL listeners and fans or Fishing Chaos users have just signed up, gone fishing, and raised almost $5,000 for St. Jude, which is badass, Tom. which is pretty badass.
That's powerful stuff. I do want, I mean, I know not everybody's fishing right now, but I want to throw a little something out there to see if we can get the rest of that 55% that we're looking for. So I don't know if you guys, I don't think anybody was able to watch the spring classic, or not the spring classic, sorry, the classic Pro-Am, but there was a team, it was Garrett Walters and Andy Bishop from the Red Clay Strays.
Oh, that's freaking
jerseys made here.
Badass jersey.
Check that out. Sick.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Good stuff. So for the listeners, we did the Red Clay Strays Summer Slam last year, which was also to raise money for charity. It was for Camp ASCA, a camp for children with disabilities. Raised a bunch of money, and they're doing it again this year. We're still working out the dates, but it's going to be a lot bigger. But Andy, great guy, great angler. Yeah, you know, I don't know if everybody got jerseys specifically for that, but he did, and it's a really great jersey. And so for any of your listeners, you guys jump in the BTL Bass Challenge, donate to St. Jude. Don't have to catch a fish, but we will give away this jersey, random draw to one person that joins between now and Friday. We'll give it away Friday.
Between now. So this is, so if you are in it, and if you're
already
the leaderboard, the leaderboard will be updated shortly. There's actually a glitch in the matrix on the current leaderboard, which is actually pretty funny.
I left it up there. I thought about going there.
I messaged. So here's the way it works. You go to, and the link is in the bio for this. You go to Fishing Chaos. You sign. You go look at the feature tournaments on the top. BTL for St. Jude Challenge. It's broken down into different regions: northern, southern, big three, and then there's a weekly big bass. You got to update the weekly big bass too. Dalton Albright still has the 27-incher, so we need to figure out what last week's big bass was.
Brandon Cottrell is the leader now, and he also caught a 27-incher.
Holy cow. Mine, it said that I had a latest edition. I probably should have updated the latest edition. It probably shows all that then now.
Yeah.
Of Fishing Chaos. Anyway, here it is. The northern, the southern, the big three. And then you can click on it and you can see. But Terry Morgan accidentally had a 19.25 incher that he inputted as a 1,925 incher. But
Terry knows better.
People ask all the time, how do you know if this is legit or anything? So you see the little green next to it, those are certified scores, which means that those have been through the system, that they've been checked, certified to make sure they're not the same fish, that there's no hanky-panky going on, that they were measured correctly, uploaded correctly, caught on artificial, on public bodies of water during the tournament time or whatever. And since it's gray up here,
Amanda has not gotten
your team has not gotten through that yet to change that into a 19.25 inch bass, which I've done that too. I've panicked before and then just like deleted the whole fish and then just started over. But the northern region,
Jerry just wanted to be number one.
Who do you have on the updated for the northern region? Is it still Frank Mullins that's leading that with 102 inches?
Frank Mullins is leading.
Frank Mullins is leading with the most obscenely grotesque shaped smallmouth bass that have ever existed on earth.
That's
there you see, that's the moniker that you're doing. So like he's just fishing the St. Jude. But then you can see like Ron Johnson's just fishing the St. Jude. It looks like Howard Lyon has a number of different things right here. So he's fishing 3 or 4 different tournaments, which is 100%, but totally up for grabs there. 102.25 inches in the northern division. And then in the southern division, Brandon Cottrell, 122.25 inches. Because I'm taking, Terry Morgan down. That's a pretty strong inches. So that way, if you're getting into it this week and you're in the southern region and you sign up between March 23rd and March, when did you say we want to run it through?
The giveaway?
Yeah.
Friday.
Between March 23rd and
27th?
Midnight on March 27th. So if you haven't signed up for the BTL for St. Jude, everybody who signs up for this next week will be entered into a giveaway that we'll have Tom on next Monday to give away that Red Clay Strays jersey. $25 entry fee, 100% goes to St. Jude.
Another thing, You hit 1,000 fish scored. You're at now 1,064 fish scored in this tournament.
1,064 fish scored for St. Jude. First place, $250 plus a $500 prize pack. Second place, $300 prize pack, $200 prize pack in each region. Even if you're just doing it, you want to donate. We'll have the t-shirts out this week as well. But the goal was, I thought I wanted to put the goal at 5,000 and then you upped it to 10,000. So we could be closing in on the goal, but we're closing in on 50% of the goal. Yes, I have learned one thing. There is a subset of kayak anglers who you want absolutely no part of.
Yeah, a lot of tournaments we separate it by boat, bank, and kayak. But yeah, there's going to be a Beat Dalton Albright competition.
Yeah.
At some point.
It is too cold. It runs through the 15th. You can sign up anywhere between March 1st and April 13th, I believe, is the last day you can sign up. But the tournament runs through April 15th. So you can count.
If you can't fish it, just remember it is still $25 going to an incredible cause.
Yep. And then if you create it, let's run through some of the other stuff that's going on, Tom. The Bill Dance 365 Giant Day stuff, and you can see here, this is all the different stuff that Fishing Chaos does.
Yeah, these are in person.
They run the MPFL, but this one is this one's interesting. If you're doing the BTL, sign up for the Strike King Road to the Opens, especially if you fish tournaments, something like that. Top 25 in each division. You have a number of different qualifiers too. Like this one is through the 31st, and then the next one will be like, I'm assuming like April through May, and then May through June.
The next one is all of April and then all of May.
All of May, yeah. And then like the top percentage of each of the regions gets invited to a in-person tournament on Table Rock Lake. Winner gets all their entry fees paid for the Bassmaster Opens in 2027.
Yep. And
you're in $20.
Yep. There's a bunch of other cash and prizes you can win along the way. There's also the in-person series, the Striking Big Bass Challenge, which I believe it's the 6th year of that. But that is your hourly big bass, and anybody that places in any hour is also going to qualify for that in-person championship. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So you could sign up for that too.
Lake Murray coming up. That's this weekend. And golly, are they chewing on Lake Murray right now? It is ridiculous.
Yeah, Lake Murray, it's wild. There's something different in the water there, like between like Hartwell, like they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger in Murray.
It's getting dumb. I was sad actually to leave and go to the Classic because I knew I was leaving them pulling up. I mean, it was multiple 5, 6, 7s that you were seeing starting to orient on the beds, and yeah, high times in bass fishing. I don't know. It feels good. It feels good to be in the sport right now and be able to get out there and go fish. So
all right,
excited about it.
You need to do a reel with that jersey to get people to sign up, but then don't tag the Bass Talk Live Instagram. That's just Jeffrey's.
Jeffrey's is just stiff arming.
No, Jeffrey's doesn't know his login, so he's like he doesn't do anything with BTL anymore. Like I own BTL now, but he still has that account, and then he can't find his login. So I can't take over simple. That account. So I just use that. Yeah, it's
it's like Okie or Bowling 69 or something.
Yeah, I'm highly doubtful on that. But anyway, tag me at Matt Pangrak, and then I'll also do one a reel for it too. But there's a little sweet in the pot. Let's get up by this weekend. So like if there's 170 in now, if you sign up between right now, today, the 23rd and the 27th, let's get up to 250 people. Is that too? I think we can do 250.
Can you see how many people are watching right now?
Yeah, there's over 150 people watching now.
All right, jump in there, everybody. Let's go.
Yes. So 250 times 25, that would put us at $6,250 for St. Jude.
Let's go. Good job, Matt. This is a very cool tournament.
It is. And then once it's all said and done, we'll have the winners on BTL. I do have an individual who messaged me and said that he has submitted fish that were captured through the ice up north. So I think that would be cool. That would be a fantastic guest to have on. Have you ever had bass submitted through the ice before on Fishing Chaos, or is this a first?
100%. There have definitely been some bass submitted to the ice. There's some ice tournaments on there, starting to be more and more of them. But that's still, I have never caught a bass to the ice. So bucket list item right there. That's
I have when I went up with. I also want to make this really clear. The way this has worked is I hooked up Fishing Chaos with St. Jude, and you guys worked. I don't know what you did. All I said was I don't want to have anything to do with that. So those entry fees are earmarked and separate, and then will be for St. Jude. So we'll oversee how many entry fees there are, what the $25 was, and here it was donated to St. Jude, free and clear for everybody to see on at the end of April when this thing is concluded.
Yep.
Because I mean, you know how all that stuff works. I was like, I want, and then you guys worked and it was a pain in the butt, but I appreciate you doing that. Yes, Jeffrey's password is I will never be banned from a bowling alley. I just asked him about that. He actually is still banned from the bowling alley, but in just his third year.
Updates.
Have you heard the bowling alley story? He came on at night and told the 1 hour story of how he is banned from the Sooner Bowling Center for life. Have you gone back and listened to that story? Oh, dude, it's like 45 minutes long. It's like a series of incidents over a several year time frame. St. Jude shirts will be available this week. Colin Catherine from ATS Printing, who really does a great job of hooking BTL up and donating to St. Jude as well. Those shirts will be available. That'll be a direct link through the BTL site. Usually sell a couple hundred of those shirts every year. Greatly appreciate it. Saw a bunch of people with those shirts on at the Classics. So
very cool.
Yeah. Anything else on that? If you have any questions, you can email me, matt@basszone.com. You can also get on Fishing Chaos. I know you, Amanda, your staff over there, really good about answering questions. Usually when I log on, there's about 15 notifications on the Fishing Chaos app about measuring boards, about submitting fish, about Wi-Fi connection, about all sorts of stuff. That's what they do. That's what they're here to do. And that's what they will continue to do. So maybe we can talk Charlie Hartley would be dangerous in the southern region with the tiny torpedo on top, because that son of a gun, he can catch some 26-inch bass on it. I'll tell you what.
Let's go. I want to see it happen.
Can you catch 5 25-inchers on a torpedo, Charlie Hartley, in the next 15 days?
No, that's a lofty goal, but I do plan on entering just to get the donation into St. Jude, and I want to buy a bunch of your jerseys if they're out yet.
No. Oh, that'll work. Okay.
Yep.
You have to enter though. You're up against it because it's like 120 inches, but based on the photos that you've been sending me, you should be in the top 10.
I have small hands, so they look bigger.
No, those are big fish, Charlie. You don't have to be humble. We're going to tell fish stories. All right, Tom, I appreciate it. I know you just got out of the gym, jumped in the studio, new family at home, back from the Classic, running all sorts of crazy stuff over at Fishing Chaos. So thanks for jumping on, and we'll talk to you next week. It's that time of the year. The BTL listeners for about a month and a half get to hear me I pound St. Jude into their heads March and April. I greatly appreciate it. I thank you guys for the support. And my goal, if you're not signed up, is to badger you into signing up for this and buying a T-shirt. I'm just going to be totally transparent there.
I love it.
Yes, but sign up now. Have a chance for that Red Clay Strays jersey from the Fishing Chaos. That would be cool to hang on the wall. Yeah. I've actually hold on here, folks. Hold on. I got something that's going up on the wall shortly.
Oh, we have to carry the show while he's going.
Okay. All right, Charlie. You're the talent, so let's keep it going.
I only have 3 jerseys. I only have 3 jerseys that are going in the BTL studio. This is not given away. Oh. This is mine. Charlie sent this to me. This is staying in the studio. This is going up when I redo the studio. That is an OG. Charlie, I have been tempted, Charlie. I was tempted at Rayburn to weigh in this.
That has been worn across the Classic stage, Matt.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So I have the 3 jerseys that I have a Frank Scalish OSI, I have a Charlie Hartley Ranger, and I have a Harold Allen baby blue Strike King button down jersey. Those are 3 of the guys, very influential. 3 of the guys. I mean, I'd also like to get a Hallman one and stuff, but that would require talking to Brad Hallman about bass fishing, which he still doesn't do. So
the BTL Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. There it is. All right. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate y'all.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like 170 people just around the country that are just fishing, and then you take your picture with it and submit it, and you're raising money for St. Jude, and then you get the rush of being in a tournament, and then you see where you pop up on the leaderboard and the whole 9 yards. So like when I did one in preparation for this, Charlie, I'd be out by myself on a lake where I'm the only guy on the lake, and I'd hook one, and I would get the Derby rush because I knew that I was fishing that Scott Martin Challenge tournament, and I'd be walking the sucker around the boat like I was in the Classic. I'm like, yes. And then I'm putting it on the bump board, and it like gave me a reason, you don't need a reason, but it's just, we're addicts, Charlie.
Yeah,
And there it is right there. Bass, Charlie Hartley, bass addict. And it was just that extra little pop.
There's something about when the catch counts makes it a lot different than just casual fishing. And I'm surprised I haven't signed up. I'm old school and afraid of apps and all that measuring, but I know you did a lot of practice, so you get over that, and you've done a great job.
That's what I was telling Tom.
Yep.
When we first did this, there were all sorts of different categories and stuff that started over. And I said, listen, I know my BTL audience. I said, we've got a lot of young guys. We got the rope hats and the short shorts and the mustaches and the mullets. I said, but there's also a lot of guys like me that know how to do it, but just don't have a burning desire to, because we grew up in the put them in the live well, see what they look like on the stage. I said that then there's a whole nother group of guys that are well off, have their families, have figured it out, and apps aren't really going to be a part of their life. They're totally okay with that because they've already been there and done that. They went through the invention of the computer and the internet and all that, and they have no desire to keep growing with it. And I said, that's the group that I got to say, oh, okay, there's the app, download it. Oh, this is super easy. It's like sending a text to my kids.
You've done a great job explaining it to try to take the fear away. I just had to add another app recently at the launch ramp over here on East Lake. Now you have to pay to launch through an app.
I hate the parking apps. The parking apps are the biggest damn scam in history. You park, you just want to go have a nice dinner, you just want to go to launch your boat. Now and they're always at places that don't have good service. Now you've got to download you got to put all your crap in, then you got to put a freaking credit card in. You don't know if it's legit or not, then it hits it. Then all of a sudden you start getting the 800 calls because you have to put your number in. The parking apps, you don't have, none of that happens. The parking apps, Charlie, I'm with you.
I hear you, buddy. First of all, I saw on social media that you might have done well in a tournament over the weekend. Have you talked about that yet?
No, and I know that you did good at a tournament, but in this transition, let's take a short break. I'm going to get my tournament story ready. You're going to get your tournament. We're going to start with your tournament stories because you called me and said that you thought you were going to be stuck out in the Florida swamp overnight. We'll start with your story. We'll tell some good old-fashioned fishing stories when we come back. It's BTL on a Monday. Tom Brewbaker, Fishing Chaos, and now Bass Addict Charlie Hartley. First appearance of 2026. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter. It's so cold. And fall. Got a big one. That's awesome.
Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option.
AFCO. Any fish, any water.
All right, we're back. BTO with Charlie Hartley. We just talk about apps, and then I run the Deep Dive app. Dude, that is a badass app though too. If you're gonna start with apps, start Fishing Chaos and Deep Dive.
I'll try to enter right after we get off.
And then there's also
I feel guilty for not being.
So here's the apps that I have not taken advantage of. I know for a fact are the advanced weather apps. Like all the guys that I fish with and my buddies and stuff. Like Deep Dive has the wind. But has some weather on it with like wave action and all that stuff, but like the advanced that they pay like windy and stuff like that. Like I know there's a bunch of apps that I'm missing out on for the weather, but Deep Dive's starting to incorporate all those things. So
yep, I used windy for Lake Erie because without knowing the wind at Lake Erie, you don't want to go out. But yeah, there's a lot of good apps, and I used Deep Dive when we were at Rayburn. It was pretty helpful when we were at Rayburn for the wave directions and such. And yes, I saw positivity out there. This was a pretty positive classic. There was not a lot of whining.
Yes, Omnia too.
Omnia's a great app also. But everything was pretty positive at this classic. The coverage was great. The venue was great. So on and so forth. The fishing was great. And I hate that there is still some people blaming the cheater box for winning the classic. It's not a cheater box. It's totally legal. But I am impressed that we've cut it down to half the tournaments. Do you know if the EQs are going to be half and half, Matt, or how they're going to do that?
So the EQs, they're going to, one will be and one will not be. That will be determined by Bass, has not been announced by Bass. And then the third and final one, which is on Lake Gunnersville, I believe, in October, will be the infamous coin flip. So me and you, our job is to finish in the. Are you fishing all of them, or?
I'm fishing all of them because
you're in, Charlie.
I heard you say that if I stick it out through all.
Yeah,
of them,
no. There were 40 some that fished all of them, and they take the top 35 that fish all of them. So, as long as you don't go out and 0-8, which you're Charlie Hartley, you're not going to do that. You have a much higher percentage chance of being in than not. How does that sound? You don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse ever.
You get the opportunity to pay for 3 more tournaments.
So you're going to be able to be in your, and by the time they do that, you'll probably be back in Ohio, at your house in Ohio, watching a coin flip that determines potentially the outcome of your triumphant return to the Bassmaster Elite Series in 2027.
Yeah, or a classic. Winning you're in, that chances to go to a classic if you win a tournament. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And of course, we saw a Bass Nation kid or young man win the classic. It's so neat. You did that show about the Bass Nation, how there's an avenue to get into the classic with only fishing 2 or 3 tournaments. I mean, when I was younger, I took advantage of every avenue there was through the clubs and everything else because I wasn't in a position to fish the opens financially or career-wise when I was younger. So I took advantage of all those opportunities. I think it's awesome that Bass still keeps that opportunity there for the nation, guys. It's unreal.
And I like that the kid is honest. Like, he doesn't come across as arrogant or cocky to me. You know, he's been fishing a lot. He did the Mercer podcast, but I personally don't see anything wrong with him going, hey, I outworked everybody, you know, maybe with the exception of Easton or something like that, because he put that time in on the water. I like the fact that he's proud of what he did and he's standing by it and he's not afraid to. I like the fact that on Mercer, he said, yeah, when I start catching fish, I'm a handful. Like, you don't want any part of me.
When I led the Classic at Hartwell, I had the opportunity of being there like 45 days before it went off limits. And I was not the best guy in the Classic, but because of that 45 days of pre-fishing, I led it the first day and finished in the top 15. And I'm not ashamed of that at all.
You fished how many days in a row?
Oh, at least 45, Matt, and maybe more. I mean,
when you led the Classic, you pre-fished for 45 days on Hartwell.
Yeah, I qualified and had like 3 months before it went off limits, and I spent 1 month down there straight and many 4 and 5 day weekends.
Did anybody bitch about that? Were there newspaper articles that said Charlie only won because he has a successful sign business that allows him to practice for 40 days and it shouldn't count because he spent way too much time down there? Was there any, was that even mentioned?
Nope, because I was old and didn't have a cheater box, and I'm just kidding, but that's probably why it wasn't mentioned. Everyone was happy that an older guy was leading, so they didn't pick on me like they do these young guys. Believe me, at my age, it would be easy to be negative about
How
this
old
stuff.
were you when you led the Classic? Because I don't think of you as old now. There's no way you were an old guy back then. That was almost 20 years ago, Charlie.
I think I was 45 when I led the Classic, man.
Yeah, that's not old at all.
It was. I mean, it is now. It is now.
Yeah.
Compared to these young, to being a young upcoming Bass Pro at 45 to be in your first Classic and lead it was pretty unique. But it would be easy for me to be the old grouchy guy and say, this isn't fishing and these kids don't deserve this, but that's not what our sport's about. If you can find a way to win the Classic within the rules and you're willing to dedicate more time and resources to it than your competition, that's the American dream. I mean, I'm living proof. Signcom's not successful because I'm the best businessman in the world. It's because I get up at 3 a.m. and I try to get everything done before most people get out of bed, which makes me look, like
started off at what age as the floor sweeper?
Early 20s. Yeah. Just running blueprints, emptying the trash cans, doing whatever the boss told me to do. Yep.
Yeah. You understand how this works. It is still wild though that, Bank Shaw just won again. You got the nut. Freaking.
That's what I wrote down. Shaw and nuts and Shaw.
Have you ever met Bank Shaw?
No. And then you got Tucker Smith, and you got
he's an old man now. Tucker Smith, he's a has-been, man. I think he's 24 already.
I love the personalities of some of these young men. The hard part is trying to tell them all apart. I hate to be an old guy, but they all look the same to me with the haircuts.
Okay,
and the rope hats.
We'll get into this.
Some of them definitely have different personalities, and that's going to be important for them to become recognized. I wasn't recognized for my tournament wins. I had a personality. I had a couple of unique things about me, like I skateboarded and I'm super hyper and I'm a clean freak. And that gave me, created a character for me. And back in the day, Bass was so good about creating a character for you or a name for you and giving you airtime. But we have so many young kids coming in at once, it's hard for them to stand out because they're all flooding it at once. The only thing frustrating to me is I knew we were all aging out, but this technology has made, drawn the line much quicker for aging out. I hate to say that. It's not going to be an old man's game anymore, which is a shame, but no sport should be. You're most driven. This may sound funny, but it's hard to beat a 20-year-old with a heart on. I used to be one, and I was hard to beat. And it's hard to beat a kid in his 20s and 30s. He doesn't have to sleep at night. Matt, as well as I do.
What was the gesture necessary with the quote, Charlie? I think we had it without.
It's hard to beat. Hard to beat, Matt.
You know who used to always do this every time you saw Big Dave? Remember Big
100%,
Dave?
100%.
Big Dave Smith, MTM recognition. Every time you saw him, he'd be walking down to the boat and he'd look at you, wink, and he'd go. Every single time.
He was a great guy. We have lost so many great guys in this sport. But first, let's hear about your big win.
No. I want to hear about you getting stuck in Florida.
Oh, mine's boring. I've got a couple places that I can access during low water with my little boat. I've got a little boat that doesn't draft much water, and I get way back into this place. And when you get back in there, you're the only guy back there. You know, it's like no one else is going to tear their stuff up to get back there. And on the way back there, I usually overheat a couple of times, and I have to trim the motor up and clean the intakes out. And this time I got all the way back there. It overheated. I couldn't get it to restart. I kept trying to restart it, and I'm like, man, I've blown this motor. Because when I try to restart it, it'd go, you know. And I was like, man, you know, we're talking 8-9 miles on a trolling motor through the jungle, you know, in the dark. Well, fortunately, before I gave up, I checked the ball, and basically it had lost its prime from me having it trimmed up so high, cleaning it out. So I pumped the ball, and the damn thing started, and it was like, I could hear the music, and I was like, oh, God, I'm going to get home tonight, because you can't call Towboat US back here. They say, no, you're on your own. And
like, how far back were you in the slop? Like, are we talking like a half mile, miles?
It's 5 miles down a trail that is wide enough for your lower unit. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then you make a turn and go down another canal, and then you have to go up over a dike that's a rock dike that's barely got enough water to get over it at this low water.
So did Tracy know you were there? Did anyone know you were there?
Yeah, and she's like, you shouldn't go back to that jungle by yourself, you know. And I know, there's always someone else back there, honey. But
so how did you find that? Just being down there? Are you a Google Earth guy? Did you just start following a pig trail one day?
Someone showed me. If no one would have shown you this, you never.
I got you.
You would go down this trail for 5 miles and say, that's enough, I'm turning back. You know, you wouldn't even know what to do when you got to the end of it. Someone took very, built trust with a old timer here, and he took me down there, and he's like, I don't want you bringing your friends back here. Are you doing any of those damn TV shows back here?
No, that's why we're not saying what lake it's on, where it's located. And I think just saying if it's a marshy area in Florida, good luck.
It's fantastic. I've told the story. First time we got in there, we caught 147 on the clicker, and we had 3 over 8 pounds. It's not that good now, but by myself on Saturday, I caught 50, and on Sunday, I caught 59 by myself, keepers.
On a top water at all?
Yeah, most of them any way you want to catch them. You're there for fun, so you don't fish. You don't fish hard, you fish fun, but lots of them on the torpedo. Yeah, I caught almost 200 fish in 3 days back there. It's pretty damn good. But the fishing's been great here. The cold fronts are finally about over. We had our last cold front last week, and like I've told you, once the cold fronts quit hitting down here, the fishing just gets fantastic. You can catch them from dawn to dusk on a topwater any way you want. But it does start getting hot. I felt that first 90-degree day in humidity, and it reminds me why I leave after Easter, because it does get really hot here. And I just saw Bondi post. He thinks they're going to be catching walleye out of the Detroit River this weekend. So the ice is breaking up. Spring is coming, and I will have to return. I leave later this week for the number 2 Division I Bass Open on Eufaula. Lake Eufaula, which I have a bunch
Alabama.
of history. Yeah, where we were together there a couple of years ago, and we got to see Milliken. I'm going to refresh Milliken's post where he gave away all his GPS information, where he did real well down there.
Oh, yeah, he did. I remember that.
Oh, I know.
Dude, that was the first time and I know you have it coming up, so we're not going to say anything, but there's a
that's right. Good point.
Yeah. There's a certain element. It was the first time that I had ever fished it, and I fished it for 2 days going, I think this is what I'm fishing, and then afterwards it was confirmed, but that was I would have double zeroed that tournament had I not gotten extremely lucky and then realized what I found. Like, literally, I was like, I got one cast, and that's it. I like that place. So that place, you can get as sketchy as you want, as open as you can want. You're there during a time of the year when it's 8 different things could play. Historic fishery, great area around there.
Yep, and I'm staying at the state park, which is real convenient, right on top of the hill. And if I'm in the right cabin that I usually get, there's even a pond in the backyard that's got big ones.
Nothing like staying at a pond during a Bassmaster Open. We've done that a couple times.
But I did last Wednesday, once the time changes to whatever it is, standard time now or daylight savings time, they start our evening tournaments, our Wednesday evening tournaments. So last Wednesday, I got to fish the Wednesday morning tournament and then the first Wednesday evening tournament.
So, and wait. Just clarify this for the folks. So Charlie Hartley fishes 2 Wednesday nighters on one Wednesday. So you start out with the Wednesday
morning and then a Wednesday night.
So then what? You come in, get an ice cold beverage, a sandwich,
kiss the wife. Yep, wash the truck, kiss the wife,
and then head right back out for the Wednesday evening.
And they were on different bodies of water. The one in the morning was out of Overstreet, out of Kissimmee, and I fished out of my little boat because my big boat was getting worked on, and Terry had a partner. So we show up at Kissimmee in the dark, and the wind's blowing, and Terry goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were stuck with just the little boat. And that wind, that's going to suck." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is going to suck." Well, I took his money in that tournament and came in second, and should have had big bass, long story short. And then I fished with him.
We're here to tell stories. I would like to hear the story of how you should have had the big bass.
Well, I lost another giant, but that's anyway, caught most of them on a chatterbait.
No, we're going down the story. How did you? I'm asking. You're not telling. I know a true bass pro never bitches about his lost opportunities, but I'm a podcast host asking you, Charlie. I would like to hear the story of how the big bass eluded capture. If you're willing to tell it, unless it gives away anything that you don't want to say.
I love to tell fishing stories, but my wife said, I don't ever want you to get up on stage and talk about the one that got away. I hate
good thing we're not on stage.
Yep. So there's some big tree piles down there. I call them hurricane trees. They're trees that got blown in during the tornadoes in the hurricane down on Kissimmee, and some of them are as half an acre of trees piled on top of each other. And everyone in Florida says Florida bass don't like wood. Well, I will prove you wrong. Florida bass love wood. When they got nothing but grass around, you put a tree in the middle of that lily pad field and they'll go to it like magnets. But the way these trees are tumbled in there makes it difficult to get fish out. I get fish out of willows, laydowns, everything, because you can figure out the configuration of the branches. You know where to flip. But this is literally a pile of them. And when you get a bite, it's 50-50 getting them out of there. And I had one about 8.5 pounds. I got her head up. She wallered over the first tree and then went back down in, and God only knows what she went back down into. I had braid on, but I was trying to pull 20 trees up. It was one of those where I couldn't even get my hook back after I lost her.
Single hook.
Yeah.
Was it a single hook?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you had it. So did you get it down there where you could feel it? And you're pulling, and the braid's just burying?
I got her up the first time. When she went down the second time, I was buried. Never, she took me in probably 5-6 limbs down and just left me there.
7.6 Falcon?
Yep. And a 5/0 owner that, it was in her. When she came over the first log, it was in her. I lost the tug of war. But, anyway, went to the evening tournament, fished with Terry, and the wind
Terry,
was
for those who don't know, tell us who Terry is.
Terry Seagraves, my fishing
legend.
brother.
He's a legend. We can call Terry Seagraves a bass fishing legend, can't we?
Yes, he's definitely a legend. Absolutely a legend. Just like Harold Allen. Absolutely a legend.
Yes.
But we went and fished the Wednesday evening tournament. We come in second again. Almost had it won. Terry lost a giant.
Bigger than the one you lost in the morning?
This looked like an alligator when it came up and started wallering. We were in pretty thick hydrilla, throwing chatterbaits and swim jigs, and I just caught a 4 and a 5, and he goes, I got a good one. And I went down for the net, and when I looked up, there was just this big thing rolling in the ground like an alligator, and then here came his bait, and I went,
he didn't do anything wrong.
Terry.
He didn't do anything wrong. Like, there's nothing that you were like, Terry, why the hell did you do that?
I don't know. I always tell him, just keep reeling. It seems to me sometimes he sets up and he just holds, and I'm like, reel.
Winch that sucker. Just have 50 pounds of grass and then open a Christmas present.
Got paid twice in one day, and several years ago down here, I actually got paid 3 times in one day. I cashed in both the Wednesday tournaments, and I had fished a Sunday tournament the Sunday before and left before the weigh-in was over, and a guy was at the gas station, and he goes, we've been looking for you. You came in third, and he handed me $300. So I got paid 3 times in one day.
Do you have any idea of how many, like, include Wednesday, like include jackpots, open?
I save all the envelopes down here.
No.
Yeah, I do down here. I save all of them. Yeah.
All right. Charlie Hartley is headed to get the envelopes. While he's doing that, we'll run a oh no, he's back already. Oh my God. Wait, how far is that? Are there more?
I put notes on every one of them.
But how long have you been keeping those? Like, what is that accumulation of how many, I guess, years?
Probably since I moved down here, like 6-7 years ago. Tracy
reminded me. Wait, so you've cashed that many checks in Wednesday night? Grab that pile again, Charlie.
Yeah.
That's like half of the Woodlands in Florida in envelopes. Look at all that. And that doesn't even count the ones where they just hand you the cash.
Right.
You requested. I wonder, he can't hear me now. He doesn't have his headphones.
And they keep inviting me back. That's what my buddies say. I can't believe they invite you back.
Do you request an envelope?
No, they hand them out that way here. Like they make them up beforehand or something. The tournament directors do. But when Terry and I win together, I do request the envelope because I save the envelope like a trophy. And I always write the date down and what we caught them on and what we weighed. And I've even got a couple of I got a little shrine down here in my garage from the little tournaments I've won down here locally. But it's so much fun. You know, you'd think you were in the Bassmaster Classic even when you're only putting in $25 entry.
No, Michael, this is the Sunshine State. This is Florida. So Charlie splits his time between. I've been to the house in Florida. It's gorgeous. It's immaculate. It's exactly what you would picture. Nice gated community in Florida with the little pond with the fountain when you come in and the pickleball court down there. And then every yard is perfectly manicured. Not a single oil streak on any of the cement driveways. You say hi to the neighbors as they ride their Schwinn bicycles past. You know, it's a gorgeous community there in Florida, but it's also not so like hoity-toity where you don't like, you know, you could fillet some crappie in the front yard. No one would say anything.
We have a whole bunch of ex-military down here. It's a wonderful neighborhood. And during spring break, all the families' grandkids show up. So we got kids in the neighborhood for a week or two while spring break goes on. And I get to take a lot of their grandkids fishing. They all know I'm the fisherman in the neighborhood. Cool. It is. I've got to turn on so many kids to their first fish, Matt, and I always feel guilty stealing that from their dad or their mom, but they're not fishermen. Mm-hmm. And I go, you sure you want me to do this? Because this is like, to me, this is the coolest moment in the world when a fisherman catches his first fish, because you find out right then if they've got the addiction or not. You know, some kids catch a fish and it doesn't freak them out. When I caught a fish, my mom always said it looked like I stuck my finger in a light socket, and it still does. And some kids, when they catch that first fish, they just beside themselves. And every time they come down, can we go see Charlie? Can Charlie take us fishing? Because they love it. And that's one of the most gratifying things in the world, is to turn a kid on to his first fish, because that first fish changed my life. Matt, changed your life. You know exactly what I mean. I don't mean to get too sentimental, but fishing is sentimental to both of us. And how humbling the fans and how they treated you at the Classic, Matt. You and Frank are loved by so many. You really are.
Yeah.
And
that's
a blessing.
Meant a ton. Meant a lot.
Yeah. No, I know it is, and it's you do a great job, and that's why you do a great job. You're a good person. You give back. You do a lot of really cool stuff. So it's easy to be a fan of you and Bass Talk Live. Now, let me hear about you and Kevin Ledoux.
I'll send you. Thank you for fitting that in. I'll send the check. I'll Venmo you the $100 I promised for that statement following the show.
Kevin's a good dude. I'll bet he's fun to fish with.
Yes, I got one more. Well, I got one more question about that I wanted to talk to you with about the jackpots, though. So I got a text from one of my buddies. I don't want to call him out for who it is, but he said, and this is just out of nowhere. And this is the text. He said, and I would like your opinion on this because I mean, I don't think there's anyone who's ever fished more than 3 jackpots in a single day than Charlie Hartley. This is what he said. He said, "What do you think the best local winning streak is?" Via derbies, like a mix of club, USA Bass, and Tuesday Nighters, BFL, etc. So if you were to hypothesize, so I'm assuming what he's saying here is, you know, everyone has that dude who like that team rattles off six Wednesday Nighters in a row, and like you have a good sack, and you're like, oh, I wonder what Jim has, because if I've got 15, Jim will have 17. If I've got 12, Jim will have 13. But that's an interesting thing because you're in a part where there's tons of Tuesday, Wednesday Nighters and weekends. I'm in Oklahoma where you can fish stuff like and I know there's no way to do this, but hypothesizing, if you were to take like, what do you think the hottest winning streak, like how many in a row do you think, or have you ever heard of a guy who's like, my God, I've won the last 11 bass tournaments I've entered? And we're not talking about boxes, cage, nets, illegal stuff, like just straight up guys. Because I have an idea, but I would love to know what your thought is on like what the best winning streak is at all levels.
Yeah, I've witnessed many of them. I mean, bigger than club. Look what wasn't it Ray Hanselman did on the Everstart?
Yeah, won all 3 and the championship. But that technically is just 4 in a row. What he's talking about is the turkey shoots, the jackpots, the fruit jars.
We've got a kid at home, Eddie Levine, and he was way ahead of the curve with the electronics. And in our Tuesday Nighters at home on Alum Creek, I think he probably won 10 to 12 in a row, to the point where, you know, it was like, I got a nice bag, but that kid's going to win again. And it probably doesn't go much longer than that, Matt, because in a jackpot tournament, you win that many in a row, you're going to get banned. You know, they're going to tell you to not come back.
Oh, okay, so I was thinking about this. So, there was at the Assumption Bass Club back when I was younger, you know, there's that core group of guys that as a 13, 14-year-old, their personalities are burned into your memory. One of them is Todd Bates, and he worked for a feed company, ran it, very successful, had his own jig company called Triple B Jigs. Great dude. Couple years ago, very unexpectedly passed away. Had a son, I think, had a daughter in college, a son who was in high school. I mean, he was in his early 50s. Like, it wasn't expected. He was one of those dudes who had those hands that, like, when you shook his hand, you're like, that guy could just, like, crush a Coke can like it. Hard worker, you know what I mean? No BS. You know, could, you know, if you go out to the garage and you're like, have you just been drinking beer, tying jigs? He's like, yeah, for about the past 18 hours. Like one of those every time you're out there. Anyway, long story short, there's this lake called Taylorville in Illinois. And
I know Taylorville.
There was a couple guys at Taylorville who had like a stocking program there where they had these really good genetics. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was the only central Illinois. It's a 3,000 acre mud pit, shallow, silted in, but it was the only central Illinois place where you could catch consistent 20 to 25 pound bags. And Todd had the off time and he lived out there. Basically that was his pond, and he hosted Saturday open tournaments because otherwise he wouldn't get to fish. So he became the tournament director, and he would win all the assumptions. We'd fish there once a year, and he's like, I need more opportunities to fish. So these only lasted 2.5 years, and I'll tell you why. 6 tournaments a year, 2.5 years. They got about 15 in. There were 30 to 40 boats that showed up during the first year. Todd went 6 for 6. There were 10 to 20 boats that showed up the second year. Todd went 6 for 6. Halfway through the third year, 3 boats showed up for the open tournament on Taylorville, and Todd went 15 for 15.
There's the best streak I've heard of right there.
Never lost one. And literally the only reason that it didn't continue was because he showed up for that tournament he was hosting and no one else showed up.
He said, "We've had enough. We quit."
Yeah. We've taken our ass beatings.
Yeah, no, when you're good enough, they ban you from a tournament. That's always been a dream of mine. And Michael Simon and Tin and I used to fish a tournament up at Erie once a year. It was the one tournament we'd fish together. And it was a circuit, but we'd just jackpot one of them. And after about the fourth time, the guy handed Michael and I our check. And I go, "Man, that's so much fun. We'll see you next year." And he goes, "Oh, we need to talk to you about next year." And I go, "What?" "Yeah, there's been some rumbling that if you guys are just going to show up for this one, only one, you need to fish a couple other ones next year, not just this one at Erie." And I looked at Michael like, that's just bleh. That just made me sick. But then I thought, I finally got banned from a tournament for catching too many.
Well, if you'd like to get banned, I could get the tournament director from the Shawnee Twin Lakes Thursday Nighter on the show, and he could officially ban you from the Thursday Nighter 5 minutes down the road here. So you could say, "Oh, yeah, I'm banned from the Thursday Nighter."
I want it to be because I caught too many.
Okay, we could get you banned from a lot. You could say Charlie Hartley, he's banned from 35 Thursday Nighters. We got a lot of tournament directors in here.
I guess in a roundabout way, I from the elites in a roundabout way.
Do we have any tournament directors in the comment section right here?
Yeah, someone call him.
Preemptively kick Charlie Hartley out of their Tuesday night jackpot.
Now let's hear about your tournament. Are you allowed to say the lake you were at?
Yeah, yeah, we were at Kanawha. Kanawha's a power plant lake that doesn't generate a bunch more. It's been around for ages in Oklahoma. Tons of tournaments, tons of guys that are way better. Austin Cranford cut his teeth on Kanawha. Zach Burge, you want no piece of Zach Burge on Lake Kanawha. Bunch of guys that are really good out there. Anyway, Ledoux fishes out there, and it's one of those deals where he calls and he says, "Hey, I'm fishing it," and I fished several with him throughout the year. But in my age where I'm at, I like getting in the boat with someone that I know who's doing it, and they make the decisions. Like he would say, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I said, "Kevin, you're 2 for 2 today." I said, "Whatever you think," I said, "I'm 100% on board with it." And I'm there to catch fish because I don't think anyone will disagree. I'm damn good at catching fish. Decision making, maybe not so much. Like, the problem is a lot of my decisions, there's not a lot to catch that's there. But if there are fish to catch there, like, I'm not scared of anybody.
Right there with you, brother. Right there with you. Well, I look at Terry all night long and go, "I'll follow you." Anytime he goes, "What do you think we should do?" "I'll follow you." And I'm real good at catching him off his back deck. Just take me to him. Right?
Yes. I enjoy the hell out of it. I have a Nico, a drop shot, a shaky head, a Ned. Anyway, I had 5 rods, one little thing of tackle, his show. We start off, it's gas and wind. And there's a side pot in this tournament, which anytime there's a side pot, you want to win the tournaments with the side pot because it always pays more than the dirt. $50 side pot too. And I think our first 5 went 21 in the first hour and a half. And the interesting thing was we had 2 or 3 of those. We've had some wild stuff happen, Charlie. We've broken off big ones. We've lost the winning fish. We've lost by a single ounce. We've had deceased fish and we've had mega sacks and someone comes in with a mega freak show sack. You ever have those partners where it's just so Cranford and I go out and it seems like we win every time. It's awesome. He's on the Elite Series. Ledoux and I go out and it seems like we figure out ways not to win. We joke about it. We joke about it. So we have a good start, and I will say this: we're power pull down at shallow, and I caught my first. I do not have a lot of experience with the Koike, but I had one tied on, and I finally had a big one just absolutely come unglued on it.
The full unit?
The full unit, 20-pound test, 15 feet from the boat. I'm like, that looks like a giant. So I will also say this. We live scoped one fish in this tournament. The rest were I wouldn't say blind fishing because he's got 360, so that helps to know where we're casting, but we weren't casting to fish. We weren't chasing fish around. It was a pure, half of the time I was in the back, half the time he was in the back. We were up front. We just knew our general area. We were dragging. We were feeling every single thing that we were supposed to be feeling, and then donk. So
with your Carolina rig, right?
No, not at all. So I had one at like one of those big ones that just dolphin, porpoise, dupe, and then smoked the koiki, and it was like a 5.9. So that was cool on that. But you know, we get up, we start making some moves, and Kevin goes in fuego to where he makes 4 moves in an hour and a half in the afternoon and jumps us from 21 to 26 pounds. Like like I straight up told him, I said, Kevin, I said, you're in a flow state. I said, you know this pond. I said, quit asking me what you think. I said, just roll with it. I'm good with it. Okay. So he went dunk, dunk, dunk. And each time we stopped, 5.13, 5.9, 5.4. And we had good shit happen, Charlie, for the first time. Like he gets a big one that peels drag and goes behind like one of those. It's like a broken down chunk of concrete, and the fish is behind the piece, and he's holding his line, and you hear it going, and I'm down tying, and he's like, oh, Panger, it's a big, and you know how Ledoux talks, and he's like, it's caught in the concrete, I'm never gonna land this thing. So it comes out, goes straight into a brush pile, gets hung up in the brush pile. I'm still retying something. He's been through this crazy thing, comes up to the side of the boat. I look over, go like one of these deals because for some reason it decides not to jump or splash or anything. And his line takes his line and it's just like dental floss breaks, frayed from the entire string. And we're like, we had no business landing that fish. 5 minutes later, I'm throwing a friggin' drop shot, biggin'. This thing tail walks like 3 times, ends up being a 5.13, comes up next to the boat. Ledoux grabs it, and it was one of those, like, you know how the top hook, there's like that soft spot, and if you only get that one hook through it, it rips the soft spot, and now you've just got a hook that's literally free floating in the fish's mouth, and any sort of tension release, and it's gone. Grabs the fish. As soon as he grabs it, hook just falls. Just stuff like that all day, Charlie, where it's like, my God, for the last 3 years, we would have lost every single one of these. And we're 5 for 5 on Kevin's decision making. And every single move we've made, we've landed a fish we weren't supposed to.
That's when you win.
It gets better. So we go back in towards check-in, and Kevin and I said, yeah, we've had a great day. We get beat. We got around 26 pounds, yada, yada. We didn't catch a giant or anything. So we're fishing right next to the launch ramp, like to the point where half of the guys have put their stuff on the trailer. It's one of those tournaments where you have to have your chip on the board by 2 p.m. So it's 1:53. And I'm just blind fishing this area with a Nico. And you ever have those bites where you instantly know before you've even turned into it that you would really like to catch this fish? It just went don't and was solid. I mean, just solid. And I reel into it and it goes doom, doom, doom. And I said, this is either a giant, I said, or it's a catfish. I said, because it's either rolling or it's shaking his head. But then it didn't do the zigzags and the line started slowly coming up. And I said, Kevin, it's a giant. And he goes, oh, this is just unbelievable. Anyway, it was just shy of 7. It was like a 680 something, which called a 5 even, which gave us another pound and almost 2 pounds, which we didn't think anything of it at the time. So we chunk it in the freaking bag, chuck the 5 even back, put her on the trailer, weigh in. There was a 27.5 pound bag and a high 26 pound bag, and we didn't realize it, but we won the damn thing on the last cast of the day, Charlie.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you're calling 5-pounders, whether you win or not, that's a fun
That's
day,
what we
man.
said, but we freaking didn't even cross our mind because like
that it was going to be close. You thought you were going to run away with it.
So then they called Kevin back up, and I didn't even know that it was the Winter Series championship, and we got a trophy.
I hear you. Oh, I got to tell one real quick one about a trophy. I had a buddy, an old tired police sergeant, invite me to a policeman's tournament. And it was during the week. It was weird. This is a decade ago. And I was kind of his ringer, you know. At the time, I was a Bass Elite guy and no one else, you know. Long story short, we win the thing hands down. And I just thought it was a little tournament like you did.
Yeah.
And they walk out this two damn trophies that are taller than me. And it was like the policeman's championship ball or something. And I'm like, oh my
it's like
God,
the one that guys fish.
They're going to put me in jail. They're going to put me in jail. I took their trophies away.
They have Elite Series guy. You were over there going, someone ban me, please. Is this what's going to happen? Please, someone ban me. Take the trophy and ban me. That's my dream come true.
I felt terrible. He didn't tell me all that. I just thought we're going to win $100 or something. Like you, here comes these trophies that you weren't expecting.
Cranford's banned from like 3 or 4, and he calls me and he's like, "Well, we're banned from this trail." And I was like, "Correction, you're banned from this trail." Well, I said I can fish them. I said I know I fish the opens. I said you're on. This was even when he was with the opens. I said they banned you. I said I go and rarely win. I said you win everything, and then you film it. Then you put it on YouTube showing how you beat everyone's ass, and it pisses them off.
That's how you get banned.
I said I show up, finish 3rd to 8th, stick around.
They invite me back.
Thanks, and they say, "Hey, we're fishing next week if you want to come back."
Yeah, I fished a little hustle down on Lake Garcia, and I mentioned it to JT Kenny once. And he went the next weekend and won and had big bass. And I go, you dumbass, you're supposed to prime the pump a couple times. You know, come in the top 5, come in 3rd. Let them get to know you. Let them think they can beat you. Then you kick their ass. Not first time you show up. I go, then you can't go back now.
I fish one that's close to the house. And we've got all these little jackpots. So there's a lot of smaller lakes around here. It was like 10 or 15 boats. Everyone was super nice there. Tournament director is super nice, but when you don't know anybody at it and you haven't been, like, every jackpot has, it's like, do you pull up on the bank and get your bag? Do you put your boats in first? Do you have one guy? Do you do a chip draw? Is it like, there's just a bunch of little nuances, and every time a new guy shows up, you're like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know that you're supposed to load. You know what I'm saying? So we show up on this deal and we're not sure what's going on, and it was one of those where I was like, oh, there's a tournament tonight there. Hadn't fished it, but I'd been axe murdering them. And I called Juice and I was like, it's a guaranteed dub. Like, you just have to show up and do a good job with the net and we'll have like 3 for 22. Anyway, we get there and it starts off. Everyone's already like in the water when we get there, and it's a funky ramp. And the way one of the dudes parked, Juice had to do like a right-hand turn, and it's a long, steep ramp. He's going to call me after this. He botches the launch. So everyone's already like, it's like the Family Guy. Have you seen that one where he's like, screw it, let's go boating, and just drives the whole rig into it. So we get that. And then, like, I've got a wrapped boat and all sorts of brakes and all sorts of big screens. And I'm looking around. It's like, there's some nice boats there, but it's like guys who catch their ass and then the rods don't leave the boat deck until the next Wednesday when they go out, and they've been doing it for 20 years and they know every stump and which side like it's guys who freaking fish, right? So the derby starts and we're out there in the middle, and I look at Juice and I'm like, this isn't good. He said, well, I said, we're the only ones live scoping here. I said, there's 15 boats. I said, the lake is small enough to where 90% of the boats can see us. I haven't fished one of these before. We're over 40 foot of water in the damn middle live scoping, and all these guys are flipping the freaking wood on the bank. I said, we're screwed either way. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, if we don't catch him, look at we smoked that freaking scoper's ass. I said, and if we do catch him, I said, we may not get out of here alive because they all know that we just scoped them out of the damn middle on a minnow and a drop shot. So with like 20 minutes left, we had 2 fish. Fish had totally changed. I had 1 4-pounder, and I told Juice, I said, let's make a stealthy exit from this scenario. So we dumped the fish, loaded the boat. Like, everyone was so nice. Everything was fine on it, but it was just one of those where I was like, you know, they all know each other, fish against each other for the last 20 years.
One other similar one to that, Matt, up at Lake St. Clair, I was pre-fishing for a bass tour event before the elites. And we were going to launch to practice, me and my buddy Dan. And there was an open, you know, right at the ramp. And we'd walk up, can we get in? Yeah, you know, we don't know you, but you can get in, $100 open or something, you know. Well, daggone it, sure enough, we win it. I mean, we friggin' smoke them. And they gave us our trophies and our money, and it wasn't, you know, no one was real happy that we won. None of them knew us. And it was like you said, they'd all been fishing against each other for years.
Your lights just went out.
My dumb buddy, when they handed us the money, goes, oh, yeah, he's down here practicing for a BASS tour event. And I went, oh, God, man, why would you say that?
They let you keep it, though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I spent money spent well. I love those tournaments that are cash. I mean, cash is king. I just love cash.
Yeah.
All right. One other thing you mentioned, if we're not going on too long, you got nothing else to do. Zach Burge was on my list. How about that? You talked about not scoping. He's hardly scoping in those 2 wins. NPFL, he definitely wasn't scoping. Yeah. So much fun to watch him fish. I mean, he's a power fisherman. I mean, he's on a roll, and it never ceases to amaze me when you start getting confident and have a couple good tournaments. Watch out, watch out.
Yeah. When was the last time you felt that on like an open or tour level, Charlie, where you were like, you were in your flow state?
When I won the points in the Southern Bass Opens, we went into that last tournament at Wheeler, and I knew by my practice, I got to the point that season when I showed up to the Open. I think there were 4 that year, and I won the points, and it doesn't matter. I'd look around and I'd say, I'm not afraid. I'm doing better than anyone here, and I know what's going on better than anyone here in this tournament. Not being cocky, but I'd done my homework. I was leading the points or in the top 2 or 3 in the points, and your confidence level, you just don't believe it's going to go bad. Mm-hmm. And it seems like when you're not in that state, you look out there and you're like, I can't beat any of these guys. These guys are all legends. They know this body of water so much better than me. I'll never beat them. And daggone it, you don't. So a lot of it is believing in what you're doing. As soon as you start doubting what you're doing or your knowledge, just the mental part of it, you're not going to do well. That's the hardest thing, is getting on that flow or getting in that zone, as they call it.
But it doesn't make any rational sense that true confidence, not trying to talk yourself into it that you're confident, but that true calm confidence translates to catching more. Like, there's no, it's kind of Rick Clunnish, Charlie, but
what's wrong with Rick Clunnish?
No, I'm just saying, like, you can't. It shouldn't make a difference whether you have confidence or not if you're catching fish. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in a logical mind, it does not make sense. But fishing is not all logic. It is not all numbers. It's not an algebra problem that you can figure out. Fishing has nuances, and confidence being one of them, that can affect the outcome. You know it as well as I do. You've been there.
What else you got?
What else I got? Let's see.
Oh, did you see my micro dice? What are your thoughts on this? Big B's bait sent them to me. So, like the dice thing, and you're an Ohio guy and a smallmouth, but what do you think about the micro dice?
I don't know, man.
Just put that on a little bit of a drop.
I think I ate that at a Who concert in the 70s.
Here's the only problem for this. I think he makes these primarily for like panfish. And after having been to Leech 2 years and fished up there, Every rock bass in a quarter mile will have this thing swallowed to their butthole.
I love rock bass. They're bluegill with a big enough mouth to catch them. You know, bluegill bites your plastic and they just take your plastic. But rock bass, you can jack them, man. When I was a kid, I caught stringers of rock bass. They don't eat too bad.
They're delicious.
Yeah,
I mean, delicious. You don't get very much meat of them. Huge rib cage on it. But the Leech Lake rock bass, dude, it's a mix between. It's got the sweetness of a bluegill and the firmness of a perch.
Yep. And the cottage I spent my summers in up in northern Michigan, there was an old sunken pier about a mile down from our cottage, and I could anchor up on that pier and I could catch a stringer of rock bass every single day. They just replenish. But they're a pretty cool fish. I wish they were everywhere. The other thing I wish was everywhere is spotted bass. And I'm not that big a fan of spotted bass, but when you go to a lake that's full of them, it's kind of like rock bass. You catch a lot of fish. I mean, a bunch. You hit Smith Lake during the spawn, and you're going to catch 40 spotted bass, and they're not little. They're 2-pounders, you know, and they're fun. I'd rather catch something than nothing.
I'm going to take a lot of crap for this, Charlie, but a 13 to 14 inch wintertime spotted bass is some of the finest table fare available.
I haven't experienced that when I was young, and we, as the club, would all go down to Santee Cooper for our spring trip. Those guys would knock the sides off a bunch of bass and eat them. So I've tasted some bass, and they would. I hate to say this. They would even fry up the roe, and they'd eat bass roe, and believe it or not,
just plucking spawners, slabbing them.
It tastes like eggs. Bass roe tastes like eggs when you fry it. I don't know how, but it actually tastes like an egg yolk.
There's no size limit, or unless otherwise posted at Oklahoma, they consider spotted bass an invasive species. So for the last 6-7 years, there's no size limit or number limit on spotted bass, and those 13, 14 inch spots in the cold months of the year are almost as good as a
crappie.
No, they're almost as good as a 14.5 inch smallmouth out of Thousand Islands.
Did you see some of that? Oh, I don't think smallmouth eat good at all. That meat's red. I don't like smallmouth. That meat is red.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Not if you wash it properly.
Oh, you know what I'm saying. It's different than.
It's definitely a different. It's definitely a different texture.
When I grew up as a kid, I mean, we put everything on a stringer. There wasn't any catch and release when I was a kid, so I have tasted all those. My mom used to do the perch butterfly style. Remember, just take the guts out and open up the perch and fry them right on the grill.
It's the only way to do it. Skin on. You got to scale them. You keep the skin on.
The best part was the tails. The tails taste like potato chips. Mom loved them. And you always had to eat some white bread because you always got some bones while you were eating the meat. So the bread would make the bones go down, not get stuck in your throat.
Pete said nothing beats a battered slab of crappie. I'm not going to lie. I would probably put crappie 5th in freshwater fish that we can catch, that we can eat.
Yellow perch and walleye ahead of that.
I'm going yellow perch number 1.
Yeah,
fresh yellow perch. I'm going bluegill number 2. Bluegill is drastically underrated. A nice 8.5 inch bluegill fillet, it gets crispy around the edges. I'm going bluegill number 2. Then I'm going walleye, sauger, saweye. I'm going any of that number 4. This is going to be controversial, but I'm going flathead catfish or 3.
I've heard
flathead catfish number 4.
That's unreal. Yeah.
Flathead catfish number 4, and then 5. I'll go crappie.
I was a northern boy, so we didn't have crappie like they do down south, and we didn't experience crappie until I started going down south, and they have these huge crappie fries, where they get the barrel of grease out, and I mean they're cooking them up for 100 people, and they're okay, they're pretty good, but I'd already been spoiled with yellow perch and walleye, so I was like, you guys are all just brainwashed to think this is the best fish in the world because
it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong.
But they catch they catch so many crappie, the crappie fishermen, they fill their freezers and then they just have to have fish fries because they have so many damn fillets. It's amazing how many crappie. I mean, I know it's terrible to release a crappie, but it's amazing how many crappies get the sides knocked off.
So in college, it's 37 is the limit here in Oklahoma. So in college, the OU team, Buddy Juice, Jordan Nichols, who runs like one of the largest Rager dealerships in the country now. I think he still does Rager now. He might do, I don't know, Vex. I don't know. He sells a lot of bass boats. Justin Hurd is an oil baron now. Anyway, for 3 years consecutively, we had not sponsored by the OU bass team, by the way. This was 2007, so whatever. We had an event called Crappie and Kegs. Where we would legitimately get 2 kegs and then we would cook crappie for the whole time and we lived next door to the OU softball team assistant coach. So like a bunch of them would come over. All the hockey guys that I played with would come over. All the sorority and fraternity guys. And it was Jordan Nichols had a house in a neighborhood. And like every year, I mean, it was just like my job. I mean, I smelled like I worked at a Long John Silver's afterwards because we got all the big fry stuff and we would just cook hundreds of pounds of crappie. But in the spring leading up to, we kind of do it before the semester was over. Our goal was to go out to Lake Thunderbird and limit out on 12-inch crappie. And we just would have bags and bags of them, all of us, because we could, keep 37 each and then introduce. I mean, it was Oklahoma too, Charlie. So a lot of people knew what they were getting into.
Wouldn't you have loved to have forward-facing sonar back then for these crappie? That is one thing I have become an expert at with that forward-facing sonar is crappie. It's like taking candy from a baby when you find them. They're not like bass. You don't catch one and the whole school leaves. Like you catch one and you can catch them all. I've had burbot. It's also called lawyer fish. You know why it's called lawyer fish?
Are we going to get demonetized because of what you're about to tell me, Charlie?
Their heart is in their rear end.
Okay.
No joke. That's how they're a super cold water fish, and to keep their heart warm or from freezing, it's anatomically in the low, towards their rear end. So that's why they call them.
Do you know how they breed? Massive orgies. It's true. It's called a burbot ball.
I believe you. I think, but I've actually it's on a menu when you go up to the UP or up towards top end of Wisconsin. They'll actually have it on the menu next to walleye. They'll have burbot because they catch them mostly through the ice because they're a cold water fish.
Yeah, striper out of the ocean is really good. I'll tell you what's not bad either is the striper out of Lake Texoma that you grill it. But marinate it a little bit before you do it and grill it. I don't know if I'd put it top 5. I would imagine if that meat's a little bit firmer, they've been on a straight seafood diet instead of shad stuff out in the ocean, and you get that salt water on them. I would imagine that, yes, that probably goes skyrockets. And
when I go down to the Keys, I order a lot of fish off the menu, and I'll have to admit, when you get fresh saltwater fish, it can be.
Have you ever had snook, Charlie? I know you catch the heck out of it and stuff. Every time I've been there and caught it, it's been out of season.
Right. I've had snook, but not one that I caught. But, snapper, hogfish, wahoo. The meat you get, when you get really fresh fish, it's just like fresh fruits or vegetables. They taste totally different than what you buy at the grocery store.
Is the snook good?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. And that's why they're protected. Years ago, they almost fished them out.
Oh, really?
I mean, oh, yeah. They had to put limit. Snook was one of the first fish they had to protect because you could catch them. They could catch all of them in the ocean. And they were becoming almost endangered. And that's why they put such tight restrictions on them. We had quite a bit of a snook kill with this cold snap we had. Snook don't do well with cold water, and that's why you don't see them further up north on the coast.
This will shock you. So I'll get judged for the saltwater anglers for this too, but down at St. Pete Beach where I fish around there, bluegill, like you said, shell cracker, whatever. Like there's a lot of fish that the locals that turn their nose up to that are actually delicious.
Sheephead.
House. The locals don't like sheepshead?
No, I thought that's what you were going to
No. I'm going worse than that. Sheepshead are fine table fare. That's like I said, if I had one day left to fish in my life, it would be in Florida on a loaded pier with fiddler crabs to catch a 15 fish limit of sheepshead or 7 fish or whatever it is now. No. So I got on one of these rock wall jetties. I was catching 8-9 inch pinfish, which everyone uses for bait.
Right.
And I was like, can't hurt. So I filleted some pinfish out, and they've got a little bit of red, and they've already got a couple lines of bones in them. Dude, they fry up good. They're freaking delicious. So we had a lunch of pinfish.
They've just got too many other things that are easier to clean and easier to eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could eat them. I mean, imagine the first guy who ever tried a lobster. I mean, what would make you look at that thing and say, I think there's meat in there, but that's. Yeah. Well, I think we covered everything 100%.
We covered everything. I appreciate it. You're almost 2 hours into this. Yeah, you had your lights or you lost your electricity. That's how long you've been on. No. You're good. Don't move. You're good. It's better like that. Yeah, no, it's better. I
got a hacky sack I just throw over there to turn them on.
Are you in your garage?
I'm in my garage, and like I said, I leave later this week for Eufaula. Then I'll be back here for a week or two, and then I get to see you at Grand, and we have to do back-to-back from Grand to Lake Norman, which is going to be a long drive in one day.
You still got the wall of bitters?
I do, but it's depleted. We got to restock them.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's been a great winter, Matt. I can't believe it's already over. And Tracy is just opening the garage door. So boom. My groceries must be here.
Perfect time to end it.
Thank you so much, Matt. Keep doing good stuff. Go St. Jude, go BTL, go Matt Pangarak.
Thank you, Charlie. I'll see you. Catch him up at Eufaula.
Can't wait to see you. It was a pleasure to see you at Rayburn. I loved watching your video of the tournament. That was awesome. I'm
going to do it again. See ya. All right, there you go. The one and only Charlie Hartley. Tomorrow, so a bunch of new technology dropped at the Bassmaster Classic. And one of the guys who knows exactly what it is, whether you need it, whether you don't need it, what it takes to need it, when it's going to be available, what additions you have to have, whatnot, who has had inside information on this for all this stuff, is Scott Palmer of the Bass Tank. So we're taking advantage of yet another BTL sponsor who has unreleased videos of exactly what the technology is from Lowrance, from Humminbird, from Garmin, if it's compatible, what it is, and then he's going to send the videos. We're going to show the videos, and then you're going to be able to ask questions and see what it is. It's like, we're not like sitting here saying, hey, you guys need this or whatever. It's just, hey, this is what came out. Check it out. This is what it can do. This is what's available. Halibut is definitely on the list, but that's a saltwater fish. We're just doing freshwater fish. Yes, striper out of Texoma, black and like redfish is tough to beat, but I would also imagine striper out of the saltwater is. I'm a bit of a fish snob when it comes to it. And Court is deathly allergic to shellfish and allergic a little bit to fish too. So so every time she's on a trip, like she's flying today, that's when I break out the fish. So I got some new fish fry flavors too. Some Frenzy fish fry flavors. If you guys are looking for a badass batter, Frenzy. Let me see if I can find this. Yes, right here. If you guys are looking for, I do not get paid. I get free fish fry, which I will not turn down. Don't get paid. Not a sponsor of the show. Tom Lloyd works with Beatdown behind it. Kind of a passion project for him. This stuff is some of the best in the business. And I haven't tried this, the Coastal Zing salt and vinegar cornmeal, Cactus Crunch, Tex-Mex, phenomenal. Bayou Burn, absolutely phenomenal. That's the standard is the Southern Crunch, and then the fish fry. So instead of sprinkling the salt and pepper and different stuff on top of it, this like incorporates everything into it. Let's see if they have any of the new flavors up here that I just got. Gluten-free Southern Crunch. Yeah, lemon pepper, zesty catch. Ooh, I won't say what they are then. I got a couple flavors that are not listed on the website yet. But if you're looking for a fish fry batter, that's it. All right, big shout out to Tom Brewbaker. Remember, you sign up for the Fishing Chaos Bass BTL benefiting St. Jude between now, the 23rd, and the 27th, which is Friday. Tom will keep track of that. $25 donation directly to St. Jude. And then also a lot of cash and prizes too through just the BTL tournament that the sponsors have stepped up to the plate for. You have a chance to win the Red Clay Strays tournament worn jersey, which will look fantastic on the wall. All right, let's see if we can hit a little bit of music here. There it is. Scott Palmer from the Bass Tank tomorrow. We will talk to everybody then. See ya.